Today we're going to talk about the process to apply for on-campus housing at Storrs for campus change students in fall of 2018. First, a little information about living on campus at Storrs. We have approximately 12,000 students that live with us on campus. This is about 70% of our total undergraduate population. On any given day, we can have up to 40,000 people on campus. This includes faculty, staff, students, and visitors. Please make sure that when you're speaking to a representative at UConn, you identify yourself and perhaps give a little bit of background information to help us remember who you are. There's no live-on requirement for students, but we do have a high demand for housing due to the excellent community environment that we offer and the amenities in our spaces. Here are some important tips. Make sure you work on your approval documentation early. The deadline for your campus change and housing application is March 2nd, 2018. When you're ready to apply for housing, make sure you log into My Housing and complete the How to Apply for Housing 2018-2019 academic year form. Please note that for the purposes of this form, campus change students are considered current UConn students. Once you've completed the How to Apply form, you'll receive access to the 2018-2019 Storrs Current Student Application after priority deadline. In this case, the priority deadline refers to current Storrs residents only. Campus change students who complete the application and are approved for campus change by March 2nd will be considered on-time applicants. You should expect to have a roommate and think about how you're going to share space with another student and how you might negotiate roommate conflicts or concerns. Over the summer, you'll receive access to our Sharing Spaces module. This module includes videos with current students discussing roommate conflicts and concerns and how they approach those situations. They talk about what worked and what didn't work. This should help you begin to think about how you're going to navigate your relationship with your roommate. Know how to ask for help and who you can ask. Make sure you use your staff resources. We have residence hall directors, full-time staff members, professional staff who live in our buildings and manage the residence halls. We also have over 300 resident assistants, RAs. These are student leaders who live in our halls and can help you with any information or housing issues that you might have. There's also residential services and the operations center. These are our housekeeping and maintenance staff who care for and clean the residential buildings. The operations center is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and you can call them if you have any maintenance issues. You should begin to think about how to get involved. Find something on campus that interests you. It will help you meet other students, learn to navigate the campus, and begin to make Storrs feel like home. Make sure that you are reading your UConn email on a regular basis. This is how many offices send out all of their deadlines and information. If you're currently forwarding your UConn email to another personal address, we recommend that you no longer continue this practice. Emails that are forwarded from UConn tend to end up in spam folders, and you may miss vital information. Here's some general information about selection times and the selection. The process itself will run from 9 a.m. on April 2nd through 11:59 p.m. on April 20th. You can select beginning with your individualized selection time up through the end of the process. You'll receive your selection time in mid-March, and it will be listed in your My Housing account. Selection times are generated based on earned credits. Students with the same amount of credits will select in a randomized order. Please note that any credits you are currently taking in the spring 2018 semester will not count towards your total earned credit count. You can select housing with another campus change approved student or a Storrs student as long as they are eligible and also participating in the selection process. We'll talk a little about how to select roommates on the next page. Once you make your selection, you cannot change, so please choose wisely and don't rush. This is a brief overview of the selection process. The first step is to select a roommate. This will happen before the selection process begins in April. You would go into My Housing and add or confirm a roommate. Once you have confirmed the roommate and they have confirmed that they wish to live with you, your roommate request will read as being mutual and matched. All requests must be mutual. Once you are matched, you can pull someone else from your group into a space, or they can pull you into a space. The second step is to actually select your assignment, and this happens during the April selection process. You can access the housing selection process beginning at your assigned time, which is posted in your My Housing account. You can see all available spaces They do not have to be spaces that are in the price range that you selected on your housing application. Any open space will show up. Once you choose a room or are pulled into a room by a roommate group, you cannot change your room or your roommate during housing selection. Some important notes. If you're not able to select at your designated time, we recommend that you contact our office to request a proxy. A member of our staff will select for you using your personal housing preferences and your selection time. This is important in case there's an error. If you ask us to proxy for you, we can correct any error that may occur. You may be consolidated within your building or area if there are multiple vacancies. We consolidate in order to keep continuing students together and reserve spaces for our new incoming students to live together. This is rare, and you would be contacted in the case that this were to happen. If you do not use your time and you do not select housing, you will be assigned to housing by a staff member of Residential Life. This assignment will be based on your room rate preference in your housing application. Please visit Selection Central on the housing website for more tutorials and information about how to navigate the selection process. Let's talk a little about expectations. It's important to have realistic expectations for your selection time. We have less than 500 single rooms on campus. You are unlikely to receive a single room during the selection process. We don't have enough apartment spaces for our entire senior class. It's unlikely that you would be able to find a full vacant apartment at your selection time. The larger the group of students you want to room together with and select with, the more difficult it may be to find a space. You can select with up to 5 other students, but as spaces begin being selected individually, there will be fewer suite spaces with 6 open beds. Please note that if you have a large group and you're fully matched and you go into selection and you do not see spaces, this does not mean we have no availability. It means we have no availability for the size of your group. You should consider multiple options for your process. If you can't find a suite for you and your 5 roommates together, how would you split up the group? Who would select for each part of the group? If you can't find a specific room number, where else might you want to live? Think about the location of your room versus who are you living with and what might be more important to you. Is it more important for you to have a specific room type, a specific location, or live near specific people? You can look at some of our spaces on our website. We have virtual tours and floor plans that will help you get a feel for the different areas of campus that we have to offer. Some frequently asked questions. When is the deadline to have my campus change approved and/or my application submitted? The deadline for both campus change application and your housing application is March 2nd. Can I select housing with a current Storrs student? Yes. You will need to request one another as roommates and be a fully matched roommate process when going into the selection process. Am I guaranteed housing if I have previously lived on the Storrs campus? No, unfortunately, students who have previously lived on campus are not guaranteed and will be placed in queue for housing. What should I do if I require a medical accommodation? If you have specific medical needs for the type of space you live in, please contact the Center for Students with Disabilities to register for your medical needs. The office will work with our office to determine an appropriate space. Students are encouraged to contact the CSD by the end of February. What if I require summer registration to be approved for campus change? Sometimes summer registration dates begin after the deadline for campus change and the housing application. We will do our best to work with students who require summer registration, provided that they are approved by campus change after they register and have completed their housing application by the March 2nd deadline. Please note that in some instances, these students will not be able to participate in the April selection process. What if I decide to remain at my regional campus? Students who cancel their campus change are not responsible for cancellation fees. Students who cancel their housing but remain Storrs students are responsible for cancellation fees. Please check the cancellation fee schedule in the 2018-2019 housing contract available on the Residential Life website. If you have any other questions, please call or email our office and we'd be happy to assist you. You can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. We plan to release information about the housing selection process, as well as an average of credits you might need for a specific kind of space, or when those spaces are filling up during the process, on all of our social media platforms. Thank you, and congratulations on your campus change.